I'm not doing this to flex. I'm really showing you this, number one, to show you that it's possible if you put in the time to set up income streams that are there whether you are or not. So I recently had COVID and it was no fun. In fact, my whole family got it. We all kind of got it together. And it was a rough couple of weeks for my wife and I and our kids. Our kids had much more mild cases than my wife and I did, but it was hard. And I want to talk specifically, not just about COVID-19, but I want to talk about what it was like running my business with COVID-19, because I am an entrepreneur. I am completely full-time in online business. And I wanted to kind of walk you through what it was like and how my business did during the time that I had COVID. When I first started feeling symptoms and then went and got tested, I was like, oh gosh, what is this gonna do to my business? And this is the first 2 weeks of the year, and I've gotta be in quarantine. I have no energy, I'm completely fatigued. I had all of the fever and chills and body aches and headaches. And then when that would go away, the fatigue would take over, and I would literally I could not sleep enough hours in the day. But then we still had to care for our kids. We had to care for each other. My wife got it too, and she had a rough case of it as well. And we're very thankful that neither one of us had breathing issues and neither one of us had to be admitted to the hospital. For that, I'm very grateful. But it was a rough couple of weeks where we just were completely out of commission. And so in this video, I want to talk about exactly what happened in my business. And what I want to focus on is actually how the business model that I have and that I teach, which is a passive income, automatic style business, I actually saw some pretty incredible things happen during the 2 weeks that I was in quarantine. So the first thing I want to mention is that I actually did some work. The only work that I did each day was I made sure to keep up with my YouTube schedule. I posted videos and they were rough. I literally would come down here and get in front of the camera and pull myself together for the 15 minutes or so that I needed to be able to make a video. Then I would edit the video and upload it and then crash. I mean, that was literally all I could do. And I had a couple of coaching sessions with some clients where I just had to kind of pull myself together and be there for clients. Other than that, it was completely off. I barely checked email. I didn't work on any products. I didn't work on any development. I didn't advance the business in any real way other than showing up and just doing a video every day. And some of the days the videos had already been made from how I had worked ahead batching videos. So I didn't even actually work every day. I just made sure that I had a video go out every day according to my schedule between the two businesses that I run. I was actually pretty concerned about income during my quarantine. For one thing, I didn't know how long I would feel this way. If you've had COVID, you know in the middle of it, you're going, gosh, am I ever gonna feel better? Because as soon as you start to kind of feel better, you get fatigued again and you start feeling like garbage. Again, you look kind of like this. This is how I felt most of the time that I had COVID. And it'll get better, then it'll get worse, then it gets better. So I was really concerned, like, is my business gonna be okay? And are we gonna have an income coming in for these couple of weeks? So here's what's really cool. In those 2 weeks that I was in quarantine, I actually had more money come in than any other 2-week period in 2020. Setting aside when I would do a product launch, because you make a lot of money in a week. So setting aside that, made more money than I did all of last year in any 2-week period, and I barely was awake. How did that happen? I want to walk you through the income that I made and how it was made, just to show you the power of the business model that I have here and that I teach, because every single dollar that I made in those 2 weeks that I was completely wiped out was money that was made because of two things. One, it's work that I had already done where I had set up passive income streams and they were working for me. And number two, it was the system that I had where the back end of my Kajabi site and my sales funnels were actually just making sales for me, where I was asleep, I'm doing my own thing, I'm trying to survive, and my business is making money whether I'm there or not. And that's a pretty amazing thing. So I want to get into the exact numbers that I made and break it all down for you, really just to show you what's possible. This is not a flex because it's not a ton of money, okay? I'm still relatively new at online business, and so the business is growing each year. It's not a ton of money, but it's enough for us to live on, and it was a pleasant surprise that it was the amount that it was. But I'm not doing this to flex. I'm really showing you this, number one, to show you that it's possible if you put in the time to set up income streams that are there whether you are or not. Now, granted, this was only 2 weeks. Had I been gone for 2 months or 2 years, we would start to see these numbers diminish. But it's pretty cool that for 2 weeks, my business just worked whether I was working or not. And eventually, as this scales, these numbers go up, and it's pretty amazing. So before I get into the numbers, I'm gonna give you something for free that will actually teach you how to do exactly what I'm about to show you, and that is my super simple guide to your first $500 online. In this guide, I basically just show you my business model, how it all breaks down, the tools I use, the approach that I take to online business and passive income. So if you go to lanesebring.com/supersimple, I'll put that guide in your hands for free. All right, so let's jump in, and I want to show you exactly how the passive income streams that I set up and the business model that I have, where I've got systems working in the background, how all that added up in the exact numbers that I made. So we're gonna go from what made me the least amount to the most amount, and this is the first 2 weeks of January, basically January 1st through 15th. All right, so let's get started. The first type of income coming in was affiliate sales. This was from a few different things. I had income coming in from my Amazon affiliates. I had income from Buzzsprout and from ConvertKit. And this added up to $190.08. The second type of income I had was from YouTube ad revenue. This was from both Preaching Donkey and Lane Sebring, because the Lane Sebring channel that you're watching is now monetized, which is awesome. And so I made $214.90 from those two channels during the first 2 weeks of January. Next up is one of my absolute favorite income streams because it's so set and forget, and I love that part about it, and that is book sales. In the first 2 weeks of January, while on quarantine, I sold $342.66 worth of books. This is from paperback, ebook, and audio sales all together in the first 15 days. I made $342.66. Next up was course sales. So keep in mind, my courses are hosted on Kajabi, and they're sold using Kajabi's funnels and landing pages and email system. So when somebody opts in to my email list, it takes them kind of on a journey where I present to them more value and I give them an opportunity to buy my course. So over the first 15 days of January, while I was on quarantine, I made $1,535 from course sales, completely in automation, completely without me actually ever even talking to someone and asking them to buy my products. I sold $1,535 in the 2 weeks of January while I was completely wiped out, sleeping probably 18 hours a day. That, to me, is pretty amazing. I mean, that's just an insane amount of income coming in with me just completely out of commission. So what this comes out to for those 2 weeks of passive income is $2,282.64. I want to mention one other source of income that I was able to get during this time, and that is coaching. This is not passive, it's definitely active, but I did keep my coaching appointments, and I made $766.34 from those appointments. So when you put these two numbers together, I made $3,048.98 in the first 2 weeks of January, and most of that was completely passive, automated income. Only $766 of it was actually active in the moment, earning the money. So $3,000 in the first 2 weeks of January while on quarantine. I just wanted to say this because it really honestly blew me away. And I'm so grateful that, number one, this business model exists. Number two, that it seems to be working, so my kids are gonna keep eating. And number three, that God has blessed my business, because I can't take credit for any of this. He just has shown his favor on it, and I'm very grateful for that. But I wanted to put this in front of you so that if you're interested in starting an online business and you're just saying, I just don't know where to start, I don't know how to do it, I don't know where to go, lanesebring.com/supersimple is a great first step to getting into something like this, because all I'm doing is just sharing something that I have a little bit of expert knowledge on and enough experience with to help people and to benefit them. And so that's really it. It's just taking what you know and learning how to help others with it, and then eventually making a living from doing that. What's crazy is if you do a little bit of math, $3,048.98 in 2 weeks is $1,524.49 in a week. If you multiply that by 52, you get $79,273.48 annualized. $79,000 is a great income, especially where I live here in Tennessee, where the cost of living is very low. And when you consider that an online business like mine has almost zero overhead. I mean, there's so few expenses associated with making money online. It's just a no-brainer. I want to double, triple, quadruple, quintuple that number and make way more than that. But the point is, I'm very pleased with it, especially given, like I said, that I had COVID and I was completely out of commission. So again, not bragging, because I know a lot of people make way more than this, and so you may or may not be impressed. That's not my point. My point is to show you what is possible. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. It makes me feel really good when I see the subscriber number go up. So if you got value out of it, like it, subscribe, leave a comment, ask any questions you want. And I want to mention that if you're interested in different ways of earning passive income, I have a playlist for you right here. Definitely download the Super Simple Guide, and I'll see you in the next video.